Hi, I was trying to make a decision about when was the right time for me to publish a new writing piece that I had done. And then I got up this morning and I was reading an article that talked about how everything we're doing is being funded by the same class of people that we're all feeling contained by. The people that own the system, the people that are running the matrix, if you will. And that no matter what we do in protest or what we do, we are the pawns that are being played in the game, in this system, as the worker bees. Okay. And so this one's called We Are the Poison. What you're going to discover is that as we push and press for answers, as we spend money on tests and demand proof of what's wrong, we'll start to see the people doing the testing are the same ones who put the poison there in the first place. And what they'll tell us about that testing is that there's poison in everything. And they're right, because everywhere we grow food, there's poison in the soil. Everywhere we harvest plants, there's residue of what we've done. Everywhere we live, breathe, and build, we're standing in the consequences of our own making. Why? Because we've been poisoning everything, layer by layer, year by year, especially the surface, the skin of the earth, that living layer where all life begins again. But if we would just stop scraping it, stop tilling it, stop spraying it, and let the plants grow, let them root, let them breathe, they'd heal. The plants already know how to do it. It's called phytoremediation. The land can heal itself if we stop interrupting it, because nature fights her own battles if we would only get out of the way. But we can't seem to do that, can we? Because the truth is, we are the poison. I say that not to condemn, but to admit I've been a part of it too. I'm one of the ones who's been saying it for years. Everything's poison. Everything's contaminated. And I'm not wrong. Everything that passed through the industrial complex has been touched by the sickness. Industrial agriculture, industrial medicine, industrial cities, neighborhoods built and torn down, even the very spaces we rebuild upon still hold the echo of what was buried there. And yet, everything that exists, every molecule, every seed, every cell, still comes from the same source, this living earth. She is the biological, chemical, and physical manifestation of energy itself, life and death, decay, and regeneration, happening all at once. So maybe the poison isn't something separate. Maybe it's just the reflection of what we've done to the source that feeds us. In August of 2013, I started a community garden. It was meant to be healing, a space for learning, growing, and remembering how to regenerate the land. I thought everyone would understand what we were trying to do. But almost immediately, I was attacked by a group of environmentalists. The irony of that still burns, because I was an environmentalist. That was my life's work. I'd raised my children on homegrown food, spent years teaching people how to care for the soil, how to see the earth as something sacred, alive, responsive, forgiving. But the garden was in what they called the wrong part of town. Not because of who lived there, but because it was where the agenda-driven environmentalists had set up shop. Determined to prove that everything there was toxic, they wanted data to say despair. They wanted proof of poison. So they came in with tests, with money, with motives hidden in their mission statements. And I found myself asking, what are we really doing here? Who's paying for these tests? Who benefits when the story stays broken? And when I looked closer, I saw that the only poison in that garden was the poison that we had brought in, the free mulch from the dump, delivered as charity by the city. That's what was contaminated. Not the soil, not the plants, and not the place. The poison came from another area of our city altogether, the landfill, surrounded by fields of agriculture where regular crop dusting, arsenic, free poison. And that realization cut deep because it was true in more ways than one. We bring the poison in our materials, in our methods, and in our mindsets. We think we're saving something, but we're just reapplying the same toxics under a new name. So I said, let's fix it. Let's grow green. Let's grow food. Let's grow life. Let's heal this patch of earth right here. And then we'll learn how to heal the next one. Let's take the money the industrial system will offer and wash it clean. Use their resources for regeneration. Turn their currency of destruction into the currency of renewal. But that's not how it went. People argued. They wanted to fight. They needed a villain. They needed a savior. They needed a headline. And soon I realized even the ones claiming to fight for the planet were being paid by the same system that poisoned it. Some didn't know, but some did. The ones at the top, the ones whose families had been leading just long enough to keep the community beneath them. Still, we built that beautiful garden, and I spent 7 years on that land. After me, another 5 years of caretakers kept the soil alive. Over a decade of blood, sweat, and tears, literally, turned that ground into something sacred, a teaching space, a sanctuary, a reminder that healing is not theory, it's practice. But the community had already been poisoned by something much deeper, the story. The story that said it was a bad part of town. The story that told people they'd never be treated fairly. The good things don't grow in their hood. That help always comes with strings attached. That poison ran through conversations, through generations, and in the end, it reached the roots. The garden didn't die from chemicals. It died from language, from fear, from belief, from the poison of perception. We didn't leave because the environmentalists forced us out. We left because the neighbors, our own neighbors, had been convinced that we were part of the problem. They asked us to go, and so we did. The food left that neighborhood. The tenders of the earth left. The phytoremediation stopped. The healing paused. And all that remained was the story that they weren't worthy of their own restoration. And still, the earth remembers. The mycelium still connects. The seeds still wait. The roots still remember the hands that tended them. The earth never gives up. She's not waiting for our purity. She's waiting for our participation. So yes, everything is poison, but not because the earth is broken, because we are. Because we've forgotten that the poison and the cure come from the same source. They are not separate. We are the poison, and we are the medicine. We are the problem, and we are the possibility. Everything, the sickness and the healing, the wound and the repair, is all one breath, one rhythm, one living system trying to remember itself. And when we finally stop fighting long enough to listen, we'll remember too.